Shalom, Yasharallah, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kal Halal La Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Just going to be reading Proverbs chapter 19 today. Going to get into the history of Susanna too. But the main focus here is Proverbs chapter 19, so we'll just start. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. So it's better to be poor, but to have integrity, so to be integral, to have good standards, good morals. You know, it's better, Salakia. It's better to have good integrity and be poor than to be perverse in your lips and be a fool. To speak ill things and not be integral. Okay? It says also that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Okay? Salakia. It said also that the soul is without knowledge, it is not good. It's not good to not have knowledge, man. It's not good. You won't know how to move. You won't know what's good for your soul, man. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man, Salakia. No. It says, the foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against Yahweh. So if you're moving in foolishness, making foolish decisions, you're going to pervert your way. Right? Meaning you're going to go down these wrong paths, make these wrong choices. Right? You're going to do the wrong thing because of foolishness, because of being a fool and not being wise. Okay, it says, wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Right? Let me get Sirach, chapter 25. Do I want Sirach 25? I don't think I do, actually. Sirach 13 and 20. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. So the same way that the proud hate humility, they hate to be humble, they love to boast, they love to exalt themselves, they love to make a show of something that they did and try and seek their own glory, as if the Most High didn't move them to do it. The same way the rich abhor the poor. Okay? Today at work, a brother told me that he had walked into a pub, right, to get a beer. He walked in, and the owner of our company was there. He's a very rich man. He's an old Edomite, and he's a very proud, rude man, right? What happened when this brother walked in? This brother who works for him, who isn't rich in any way, he's poor. This poor brother walked in. What did this rich man do? He didn't just ignore him. No, he took it a step further. He left. He abhorred the poor, man. He didn't even want to be associated with what he considers scum. So he just left. Probably went to a different pub. The rich abhor the poor, man. Okay. What's that one scripture? It says, Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor. Okay, the rich rule over the poor. We see that today. That's just how these societies work, man. It says, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Your servant, if the borrower is servant to the lender, you get out a loan from the bank. You're now going to your job and working to pay off that loan. You're literally serving the bank. Your money that you're earning is for them. It's not for you. You're earning money for them. You're working for them. Or more so, you're working in order to pay them off. The reason why you're working now, once you borrow from them, the reason that you work is to get money to give back to them. Yeah, you borrowed the money, but you go to work and you're doing your service in order to pay them. Right? You don't want to miss a day of work now. You might be really ill, but you don't want to miss a day because you don't want to come up short and have to have less because you still need some for yourself. So you don't want to miss a day, right? You got a doctor's appointment and it grieves you now because you're going to have to clock out. You need to go to the doctor, but now you're grieved because you had to clock out and lose some money. Meaning you're going to have less when it's time to pay them. Okay? Okay. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Right? Well, if you're rich, a lot of people want to know you. They want to be your friend. They want to be around you. Right? But the poor is separated from his neighbor. People don't want to associate with poor people, man. They want to look down on you just because, not because of the quality of man you are, but because you don't have substance. Okay? Verse 5, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Okay, you're not going to escape. You might even die. You're still not going to escape. You're still going to come back for judgment. Right, and the false witness shall not be unpunished. Let me just grab this. Sirach chapter 11 verse 28. It says, judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children. See that? Just because he died and never got judgment and he was blessed. Think about these Edomites who had us in captivity. They have us still in captivity, but when they had us in the hardcore bondage, before they took the leash off of us, so to speak, those men died rich, with their families surrounding them, in bed, comfy, man, at an old age, full of life. They've had the fullness of life. They died blessed. But don't judge them as blessed, for a man shall be known in his children. A man shall be known in his children. They're going to have to take judgment now. And it's the same men back on the earth. So don't judge them as blessed. Don't think they got away. Don't think they got away. Because they didn't. They have a judgment coming. Even the men that died blessed. Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 19 verse 16. It says, if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong. So it kind of starts saying, hey, I seen brother, going off, committing sin. Then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priests and the judges which shall be in those days. Okay, so you're going to go to court. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, meaning they will look at all the evidence, hear from the witnesses. They will leave no stone unturned. They will make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. Okay, so he's supposed to get the judgment that he tried to impose on him. If he accused him of something that's worthy of sacrifice, hey, now he's got to give that sacrifice. Now he's got to give up his lamb, his beast, right? He accused him of something worthy of death. He has to die. And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. They'll see, it'll make an example of him, and then they won't want to commit that evil. And then I shall not pity, but he shall go for life. But life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. So you're not supposed to pity him. Like, oh, he messed up, he's got to die now, I kind of feel bad for him. No, you got to remember, he was trying to get someone else knocked off, right? He was trying to make another man lose his substance by putting him in a position where he'd have to do a sacrifice. You can't feel bad for him for getting that same. He tried to do that to an innocent man. So it's going to be trouble for him, and you shouldn't pity. Okay, but that's the law. This verse is why I wanted to read. There's another verse too. Verse 9 says, a false witness... No. Yeah. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Shall perish, man. It's saying the same thing. So we want to read Susanna. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife, whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Celsius, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. So Susanna was very fair, nice to look upon, and she feared the Lord. You know, in this society today, especially in these Western countries, you know how rare it is to find a beautiful woman that's not clamorous and boastful, and a beautiful woman that fears the Lord. A very, very fair woman that has integrity, that walks uprightly. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. See that? Also that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. But women today, if they're very beautiful, then it's not so. Okay? Her parents also were righteous, meaning they kept the law, and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. See that? Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house. Right, so he had a nice big garden, maybe a couple acres. You don't know. Just had a nice garden, bro. And to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honourable than all others. This was an honourable man. So lucky. The same year were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges. So these two judges were elders, such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon, from the ancient judges, who seemed to govern the people. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. They came to them because they were seen as wise judges. They were elders. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. And they perverted their own mind, and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. Let me get Proverbs No. No, 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 no. No, no. I want Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 4, verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind. See that? See that? So concupiscence, let's get that word. It means strong sexual desire, lust, right? And if we read this verse in the GNT, I made sure to have a look earlier. It says, we all know that people can be so fascinated by evil that they cannot recognize what is good, even when they are looking right at it. So they're seeing the opportunity here not to lust. They're looking at a good thing. They could rebuke themselves, which would be a good thing. But they are so fascinated by evil that they cannot recognize that. It says, innocent people can be so corrupted with desire that they can think of nothing but what they want. See that? See that? It said, for the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind. That's what's going on with these elders, man. They can't ignore this strong sexual desire they have towards Susanna, to the point that they're corrupting their own minds. Right? It says, verse 9, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven nor remember just judgments. It says, and albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one shew another his grief. So they weren't talking about it. They were keeping it to themselves. They didn't want to talk to each other about it. It says, for they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to have to do with her. Okay, they were ashamed to declare it, to make it known. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. So they both walked away, but they both had the same idea. Okay, we're going to walk away, and I'm going to come back and do my thing. They both had that same plan, right? And you're going to see what they were planning to do. It says, and after that they had asked one another the cause, they acknowledged their lust. So they kind of was like, yeah, bro, I'm feeling Susanna. She's very fair. The other one agreed. Yeah, I'm feeling Susanna. Then appointed they a time both together, when they might find her alone. Okay, so they're trying to get the drop on Susanna here. And it fell out as they watched a fit time, she went in as before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. So she wanted to take a bath outside. The garden was private. You know, she could do that. It said, and there was nobody there save the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her. So they had hidden in the garden, and they was watching her, and it was just them. Then she said to her maids, bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors, that I might wash me. So like that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hid. Now when the maids were gone forth, the 2 elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us and lie with us. So they wanted to do the freaky threesome, man. The freaky threesome thing, man. That's what they was trying to do. If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee, that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee. So they was going to bear false witness, saying that she was committing adultery with a young man. But watch what Susanna did. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. So she's saying, look, if I do it, then I'm committing adultery. It's death unto me. But if I don't do it, then you're gonna do the wicked that you're planning to do. She said she's straightened on every side. She's boxed in. She has no choice, no options. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord. Wow. Wow. Susanna had faith, man. Susanna had some serious faith. She would rather... She would rather be falsely testified against and put to death than to sin against the Lord. You know how much people would just save their own skin? So much people. With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the two elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at the privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna. There was never such a report made of her. She was always in good reputation. Okay. And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the two elders came also full of mischievous imagination against Susanna to put her to death, and said before the people, Send for Susanna, the daughter of Celsius, Joachim's wife. And so they sent. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman, and beauteous to behold. And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered, that they might be filled with her beauty. Therefore her friends, and all that saw her, wept. Then the two elders stood up in the midst of the people, and laid their hands upon her head. And she, weeping, looked up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. AKA, she had faith. Okay? And the elders said, As we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids, and shut the garden doors, and sent the maids away. Then a young man, who there was hid, came unto her, and lay with her. Then we that stood in a corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran unto them. And when we saw them together, the man we could not hold, for he was stronger than we, and opened the door and leaped out. So they're saying that he kind of got low on them. He ducked out. But having taken this woman, we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things do we testify. Okay, so they've falsely accused her now. They've done it. Then the assembly believed them, as those that were the elders and judges of the people. So they condemned her to death. So because they were elders and judges, they believed them. Why would they be lying? Why would they make this up? Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting God, that knowest the secrets and knowest all things before they be, thou knowest that they have borne false witness against me, and behold, I must die, whereas I never did such things as these men have maliciously invented against me. And the Lord heard her voice. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth, whose name was Daniel. Yes, this is that Daniel. The book of Susanna is actually Daniel chapter 1. Not Daniel chapter 1 that we know, but this was part of the book of Daniel. But it was removed, right? It's not actually Daniel chapter 1, but it was part of the book of Daniel, and it was before Daniel chapter 1, right? Now, what does Daniel mean? Daniel means God is my judge. Danya Allah. Dan is judge. Danya is my judge. Allah is God. Danya Allah is God is my judge. Or my judge is God. Right, let's see. Daniel. Danya Allah. God is my judge. Right? That's spiritual. That's very spiritual. Okay. Verse 46. Who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman. He's saying, I'm not guilty as all of you. Then all the people turned them toward him and said, what mean these words that thou hast spoken? Said, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're clear of this woman's blood? So he, standing in the midst of them, said, are ye such... This is a young man, a young youth, with this wisdom that the Most High raised him up with. It says, are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth, ye have condemned a daughter of Israel? He's saying you're not even going to check. This is Sirach chapter 11 verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Okay, you need to first understand the situation. You can't just say that. You can't just take it at first glance. Okay, you need to examine the truth before you blame. You need to understand first and then rebuke. What did it say in Proverbs chapter 19? Where did it say, Salakia? Just having a moment. Can't. Salakia. Oh my, you know when your brain just goes foggy for a moment. We just read this. This is the law regarding false witness. Right? Salakia Yashar Ali, you'll have to excuse me. That's verse 18 says, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition. They're not just going to take, she committed adultery? Okay, well, let's stone her then. That's what we're supposed to do. No, you got to check. Can't leave any stone unturned. Right? You've got to diligently inquire. Can't just take it as what was said. Right? You got to check. Right? Verse 49. Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her. He knew what was up. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste, and the elder said unto him, come, sit down among us, and shew it us, seeing God hath given thee the honour of an elder. Oh my God, they said, God hath given thee the honour of an elder. That sort of wisdom. Then said Daniel unto them, this is so wise, he said, put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them. So he said, separate them. I'm going to question them on their own and see if this story checks out. Have they got all their facts straight? Have they got all the details together? They didn't expect it to get this far, man. They didn't expect somebody to question them because they were reputed as elders and judges. Okay? So when they were put asunder, one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light. You've been exposed by the Most High, man. They've come to light. All that stuff that you hid in darkness is now out in the open, man. It said, for thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free. Albeit the Lord saith, the innocent and righteous shalt thou not slay. Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them companying together? Who answered, under a mastic tree. So he said, what type of tree was they fornicating under, man? And he said, a mastic tree. Okay? And Daniel said, very well, thou hast lied against thine own head. He said, you just lied against your own head. What does he mean? He means you've lied and it's contrary to you. If you just told the truth, different story, but you lied against your own head, right? You've done yourself harm here, right? For even now the angel of God hath received the sentence of God to cut thee in two. So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart. Now I'm not actually sure what it's going into when it says that he's the seed of Canaan and not of Judah, if he's a Canaanite, or if it's symbolic to his heathenistic ways. I'm not sure. I don't actually have understanding on that, Salakia. But it's not the most important thing right now. So we're going to read on. It said, beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart. Thus have ye dealt with the daughter of Israel, and they for fear companied with you, but the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them companying together? Who answered, under an home tree. He didn't say a mastic tree, he said an home tree. That's a different tree. Then said Daniel unto him, well, thou hast also lied against thine own head, for the angel of God waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that all the assembly cried out with a loud voice and praised God, who saveth them that trust in him. And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. Okay, by your words be condemned, by your words be justified, man. They condemned themselves with their own mouth. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbour. Deuteronomy chapter 19, reading on from verse 16. And they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day. Therefore Celsius and his wife praised God for their daughter Susanna, with Joachim her husband, and all the kindred, because there was no dishonesty found in her. From that day forth was Daniel had in great reputation in the sight of the people. From that day forth, he had great reputation because he'd done something so wise. Okay, so then we get to Daniel chapter 1. And it says, Daniel chapter 1, verse 3, and the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favoured, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science. Now, when it says science, it's not like we think about science today, right? It just means knowledge. That's all it means. It just means knowledge. Understanding knowledge. And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Okay, but it says that these children were well favored. We just read that Daniel Daniel was in great reputation in the sight of the people, man. He was well favored because he was skillful in all wisdom, cunning in knowledge, and understanding science. Okay, verse 6. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Okay. Daniel was one of these children. Now Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were also reputed in the sight of the people. For those of you who don't know, Hananiah is Shadrach. Mishael is Meshach, and Azariah is Abednego. The three holy children. Okay, that's them. These are just their Hebrew names. Okay, it says it right here. Verse 7. And to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. Okay, he gave them names. Okay. So we're going to get back to Proverbs. But that's one of my favourite books, you know. Susanna. I love that book. I really do. Yeah, that's what it's saying, man. False witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. These elders perished, man. They didn't go unpunished. Okay? Don't bear false witness. It's not a joke. You know how annoying it is to be falsely accused of something? You know how frustrating? You know how destructive that is for somebody innocent? If you bear false witness, you suck. I can't lie. That's a shiesty, scummy thing to be doing. Okay? Now let's read on. Verse 10. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. Okay? Delight is not seemly for a fool. What's this saying? It's basically saying that fools don't deserve the good things, man. The finer things in life. Fools aren't deserving of that. The same way that a servant doesn't rule over a prince. Same way that a servant at the bottom does not. He doesn't get to call the shots and sit in the high chair, right? He doesn't get to get the finer things like the prince does. Delight is not seemly for fools aren't supposed to have nice things, man. They're not deserving of it. Okay? They're not deserving of it. It says the discretion of a man deferreth his anger. Right? So if you have discretion, let's get that word discretion, right? If you have discretion, if you are prudent, insight, if you're an understanding person with good sense, right? It defers your anger. You might be annoyed, you might be angry, but you can look past that. You can settle your own anger, right? Because you have good insight. Okay? You know that anger's not going to help you. You know that it's not going to help you in the situation. It's not going to do any good for you. So you can let go of that. You can realize, do I really need to be upset? Do I need to be so angry right now? No. Am I making a big deal of nothing? Am I causing a fuss for no reason? Would it be better for me to just calm down, take a minute? You know, they say, breathe and count to 10, man. Right? It says, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. Your brother did you dirty. It's your glory to just forgive him. Right? Just like Christ was teaching us, man. If we don't forgive, we can't be forgiven. Right? I think it was Peter asked, how much time should I forgive my brother? 7 times? He said 7 times 70. Now, is that literal? No. But he's just showing you exactly like how innumerable it's supposed to be, how great it's supposed to be. You just forgive him every time, man. Okay? It's your glory to pass over a transgression, to just select you. It's your glory to pass over a transgression, to let it slide. Right? That's concerning your brothers, not the heathen. Okay? But it says the king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion. What does a lion roar for? What purpose? to defend its territory, right? For the sake of fear, to strike fear into you, right? To show its might and its power. So the king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion. It's scary, man. If a king is angry, you know how quickly he can just go off and now you kind of look at him, make eye contact while he's angry, and suddenly your head is on a block, man, getting ready to be chopped off. Right? When a lion roars, it means bad news, man. When the king is angry, you don't want to be around. The same way, if you hear a lion roaring somewhere, you want to make yourself make yourself scarce, man. You want to get out of that area. There's a lion roaring nearby. Oh my God, I've got to go. I want to deal with that. I don't want to run into that. Hey, you know the king's pissed today, bro. Salakia. The king's angry today, man. Oh really? I'm kind of gonna stay away from the chambers then. Yeah, you better. You don't want to buck up into him today. He's not in a good mood. Right? I'm glad it's my day off, man. I'm not around the king today because he's in a bad mood, man. He's not doing too good today. It says, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. So when he's in a good mood and he's favorable, it's like the dew on the grass. That's good for the grass. It waters it, and it's a constant supply of water. The grass can just soak it up through time and get multiple benefits over time. So when the king has favor, you can be blessed. You can have benefits. You can receive good things that are going to nourish you over time, right? It says a foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. It said a foolish son is the calamity of his father. Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 10, verse 1. It says the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. A wise son makes the father glad. Okay, it makes your father glad. But if you're foolish, it's heaviness to them, to your parents. It's heaviness. You're dishonoring them, man. And it's heaviness. It's a sorrow. They can't even look in your direction without thinking, my son is such a fool. And they worry about you when you go out. What's this knucklehead going to get himself into today? Right? So it's heaviness to them. It's a burden. Okay? So, where was it at? Salakia. I realise now that I skipped over a bit. So I'm going to jump back to verse 6. It says, many will entreat the favour of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. Okay, everyone wants the favour of the prince. They want his favour because it comes with good things. It comes with good reputation. It comes with benefits. You want to be in the good favour of the king, of the prince, Salakia. But it says, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. Everyone, if you're giving out gifts, everyone. I'm not saying go out and give gifts. That's not what it's saying here. It should be giving gifts willy-nilly to everybody. But what it is if you're known as someone who will bless someone when it's not asked, bless someone when maybe they don't exactly need it, but you just have that kind of heart where you'll bless your people. You know, I seen this, maybe sister, I seen a dress that I know you'd look good. I know it's your kind of style. I know you'd like it. I just bought you this dress. I was passing by. I thought, you know, it'd be a nice thing to do. Maybe you just buy your mother some flowers one day. Buy your mother some flowers just to say thank you for being a good mum. Yeah? Maybe you buy your dad some aftershave or something. Not because it's his birthday. That's off. Or not just because, like... Just because. Just because you just buy him something nice. Right? People are going to be friends with you for that. Because they know that you're a generous person. And that they're not going to be wanting with you. Right? It says, all the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? Right? When you're poor, people don't want to be around you. No, I'm not cursing people for being poor, by the way. This is just what the scripture says. People don't want to be around you. Because maybe you go out to eat. Maybe you go out and they're always having to buy you your food. Or you can never put into the petrol money. Right? You can never go out to the function. They're going out to the functions, to the events, to these parties. But they're far from you. Because you can't go. You don't have the money. He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. Wanting as in he doesn't have them. He's in need of them. If you're in want of something, it means you don't have it. I'm in want of some food because I don't have any food. Right? He pursueth them with words. Tries to speak sense to them. Look, guys, can't we just stay in tonight, watch a movie or something? Do we have to go out? I mean, I can't afford. But he doesn't have them. They go anyway. It says, he that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. Right? Right, because that's a chief thing. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Wisdom is a principal thing. You need wisdom to live. Therefore get wisdom. This is code, saying keep the commandments. And with all thy getting, get understanding. So with all that wisdom you get, you will get understanding. Because what did we read in the last lesson? Psalm chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord, which is keeping the commandments, is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments, his praise endure forever. You see that? See the verbiage? Salakia. You see the verbiage is the same. It's all... The Bible is amazing, man. It really is. But let's get back to it. It said, a foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. Right? You know, like when a tap is loose, is broken and it's dripping. It's just drip, 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 and it's annoying. It's constant, and it's just shut up. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way it is when your wife is nagging you all the time. Right? That's the same way it is. It's just annoying and constant. And just something that you just don't want to deal with. It says, house and riches are the inheritance of fathers. Okay, something to pass down. And a prudent wife is from Yahweh. A prudent wife is from Yahweh. Okay, we all know Proverbs 31 and 11. Salakia 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. A virtuous woman, a woman with good works, you can't put a price on that. Right? We're not going to read all of this, but I suggest you do. No, we are going to read this. Okay, verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. Right? He can trust in her safely. He knows that she's not going to go out and do some wickedness, messing around on him, talking his business, stealing his money, right? Insulting his manhood in front of her girlfriends, man. He can trust her, so that he shall have no need of spoil, right? He doesn't need any spoil, because his wife is doing good things, right? His wife is taking care of business at home. He has more time to put in work now. He doesn't need to go and steal. Okay? Because all the other things are taken care of. He has more time to go and gain. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Willingly. Not just, really? You want me to do that? But my feet hurt. My back hurts. I can't be bothered. I want to watch Netflix. Okay? I'm going out. No. It said, worketh willingly with her hands. Salakia. There's no back chat. You ask her to do something, she's like, okay, yes, husband. She's willing to do it. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar, right? So she brings in substance, she brings in gain. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. Okay, so she gets up. Maybe it's late and you're feeling hungry. She'll get up and make you some food, right? She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. What's this mean? She puts in investment in whatever it may be. She thinks ahead. That's why it says she it's like it basically it's going into she puts in investment. I'm not talking about buying stocks and bonds. I'm talking about she'll do something that is gonna grow, that is gonna become something else down the line, that's gonna benefit, something that's gonna appreciate, right? She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. Now, does that mean she's hitting the no. It just means that she puts forth strength in what she does. Let me get Ecclesiastes. Is it chapter 10, verse 9? Or is it chapter 9, verse 10? 9, verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. So when you put your hand to do something, give it your all. Give it your best. Okay? That's what it's talking about here. It's not saying she's going to the gym and building up her arms and getting... No. It's saying... Slacky, why am I in Proverbs 19? It's saying... She's strengthening her arms. She puts forth her strength. Right? She's not slack. She's not lackluster. She's not half-arsing it. She's putting in work and effort. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. Right, so she's not wandering the street with a candle. She's staying at home and doing her due diligence, man. Her merchandise is good. She's not defiling what she has to offer. Right? She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. Okay, so she gives alms. She's humble. She is not afraid of the snow for her household. For all her household are clothed with scarlet, right? She doesn't have to worry about her children sitting in the cold, man. No heating in the house. Freezing, sleeping with coats on, like a lot of us did. She's not worrying about that, man, because she's virtuous. She has good works. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Right? Her husband has a good reputation. You know, having a good wife increases your reputation all the more. Yeah. Yeah, it increases your reputation all the more. To have a good, honourable wife. But if you've got a disobedient, he can't really, she wears the pants in the relationship. He's not much of a man. You know, he's a bit of a beta. That's what kids say nowadays, isn't it? He's a bit of a beta. Right? He's not really the guy. His woman rules over him. Okay? What did Proverbs 31 say? Verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy weight to that which destroyeth kings. But this man gave his strength to his wife, and now he has no good reputation. This king was destroyed. Okay? She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honour are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her Salakia. Strength and honour are her clothing. That doesn't mean... That's not literal. It just means that, like, she puts that on and it covers her, man. And she walks with it. And that's what she wears. She's always wearing strength and honor. Okay? And she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom. She doesn't just talk foolishly. Speaking foolish, pointless, vain things. Stupid things. Talking about Love Island and all. No. She speaks wisdom. And in her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay? Here it is, Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. Okay, words can hurt you, man. Words can break bones. But pleasant words are sweet to the soul. Right? Your woman starts speaking harsh words. That can do something to a man, you know. But when a woman's speaking all pleasant and sweet and delicate, bro, women are powerful, man. What does Zerubbabel say? What was the wise saying that allowed us to go back home? Does anyone know? So to save time, the King Darius, he was asking for a wise saying. Right? He was looking for a wise saying. If I remember correctly, his servants were. Right? But anyway, the point being, Zerubbabel, who was cold, man. Zerubbabel means sown in Babylon. Right? First Ezra chapter 3, verse 12. The third wrote, women are strongest. Women are strong, man. Women are powerful. A woman can entice a man to destruction. A lot of our brothers, unfortunately, get set up going to meet women. You'll go lacking for a woman, bro. Okay, you'll do stupid things for a woman. But above all things, truth beareth away the victory. This is the saying that allowed Ezra, Nehemiah. It's what allowed us to go back home and build up the land, man. This saying, Zerubbabel was cold. Right? She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. So she looks well to the ways of her household, man. She takes care of, she's diligent. She's cleaning. Right? She's keeping things in order. She doesn't eat the bread of idleness, meaning she doesn't just sit around on her arse all day watching Love Island. She's not idle. It says her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he prays of her. She has a good name, man. She has a good name. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. Beauty is vain, man. It's pointless. It doesn't actually gain you anything. In the sense of, if you have a woman who's more tender to look at, she's not the best looking, but she behaves herself, she's submissive, she cleans, she cooks, she raises the children well, she speaks wisdom, she studies, she fears the Lord. You should rather want that than a beautiful woman who is wicked in all her ways and clamorous and just a nightmare to be around. Because the beauty isn't the part that's virtuous, man. It's vain. Now, don't get me wrong. We all want a beautiful woman. Beauty is good, but it's not the focus, man. Right? It said, but a woman that feareth the Lord, a woman that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. See that? Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Right? That's the kind of woman you want. That's the kind of woman you want to be. Right? Okay, a prudent wife is from Yahweh. Right? Let me get Sirach, chapter 36, verse 24, I believe. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. You can go home, right, from work, you've been working hard all day, maybe it's been a bad day, but rest assured, you don't have to do nothing at home. It's already done. Kids are taken care of, food is made, all the washing up, all the cleaning is done, the beds are made, everything. You can just have a shower and now you can kick back and just chill with your woman. And she's a pillar of rest to you. She's comfort. Something to hold, right? Salakia. That's the kind of women we want in this thing, man. Even just from reading down from 21 down to 24. Right? We'll do that. A woman will receive every man, yet is one daughter better than another. Right? Not too sure that's going into it. A woman will receive every man, yet is one daughter better than another. So we know that one woman is better than another. Not too sure about this one. Salakia. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. See that? And a man loveth nothing better. So like I was saying, beauty is vain, but it's still good. We still desire beauty. It cheereth the countenance. Bro, sometimes I look at my woman, yeah, and I just smile, bro. On some real soppy kind of stuff, man. Like sometimes I look at the beauty of my woman, you know, and it just makes me smile, man. It cheers my countenance. Just seeing her smile in her eyes. A beautiful woman can cheer you up, bro. I look at my lady sometimes and it just cheers me up. When I'm having a bad day and I come to her and I see her face, it cheers me up. And a man loveth nothing better. You see that? We love beautiful women, man. It says, if there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then is not her husband like other men. See that? Just like we were saying, your reputation can skyrocket just off of your woman being kind and meek, meaning submissive, right, and comfort in her tongue. So he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. That's beauty. That's fire. Let's get back to it, man. It says, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Oh my God. Slothfulness makes you lazy to the point that you're just going to be napping all the time, sleeping all the time. And an idle soul, someone who doesn't do jack, shall suffer hunger. You won't have bread to eat. Right? Proverbs chapter 20 verse 13. Love not sleep. So don't like to just lounge around all day and sleep all day and you don't want to get up in the morning. So now you're missing work because you didn't want to get up and you wanted to lie in. No, it says, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. You'll be able to eat, man. You'll get a meal. Open thine eyes. Don't just close up 5 more minutes. Now you wake up 2 hours later. 5 missed calls from your boss. Text from the colleagues saying, hey, you're in trouble when you get to work, you know. Now you're hungry. Now you're poor because you lost your job. Right, what's that one? It's another proverb. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 4, same chapter. The sluggard will not plough by reason of the cold. Right? So because it's cold outside, because it's a little cold, you don't want to go out, and now you're lazy and you don't want to go and plant some seeds. Well, guess what? Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. When it's time to reap and everyone's eating their bread and their corn and, they're kind of eating all the foods, all the wheat, all the stuff they planted. Well, you didn't want to go out because it was cold. So when harvest time comes around, right, in the first month, Abib, you didn't want to plant in so-called December time, which is when you should be, because it was cold. Now it's damn April, May. It's time to harvest some stuff, and you don't want to do it. Slucky, you weren't able to because you didn't plant nothing, and now you're begging. Hey, please let me get some of that bread, bro. I ain't got nothing. So now another man should share with you. See? Proverbs. No, that's not what I want. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. It said go to the ant. What do the ants do? They work. They're always working, carrying stuff in the colony. Constantly building, constantly working, carrying stuff. Going out far and coming back. Right, they work. What does the sluggard do? Just chills all day, man. Kind of just crawls around and just lays under rocks and just chills all day, man. Eats itself some leaves and then just kind of just slugs around. It's saying, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways. Look at how she does. And be wise. Right? Look at the work she puts in. And be wise. You need to do that too. Right, let's get to Proverbs chapter 19 again. I'm going to go from verse 16. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. See that? You that keep the commandment, you keep your own soul, right? Psalm chapter 41 verse 4. I said, Yahweh, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. No. That's not the one I want. Is it in the Apocrypha? No. Salakia. There might be one that I'm missing there. There's one about sinning against your own soul. I'm sure there is. Salakia. But he that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul. Right? But he that despiseth his ways shall die. He that despises the ways of God, right? Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. The spiritually dead people walking around, who are the walking dead. Because on the outside they're alive, yes, but spiritually they're dead. Because the law is life, man. Right, look. Sirach chapter 9. We'll get 17 first. Verse 11. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance. Keeping the commandments is how you are alive. You're walking dead if you don't. Spiritually dead. Let's get Sirach chapter 19, verse 19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. You live forever, because that's life. Keeping the commandments is life. Sin is death. We all know this. We know Romans chapter 6, verse 23, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach our Lord. Right, because Adam's transgression led to death, Christ's obedience led to life. Okay, let's get Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. Not just till Christ hits the scene, no, forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Now, in order to keep the law, you have to be alive anyway. You have to be alive in order to not eat pork. You have to be alive in order to rest on the Sabbath day. You have to be alive in order to wear fringes. You have to be alive in order to love thy neighbour, to keep Passover, right? To keep Pentecost, to keep tabernacles. You have to be alive to do these things, man. Right? So it's not just talking about physically coming to life, it's talking about spiritually being alive. But such as leave it shall die, the walking dead. And ultimately they will die, physically too. Right? Let's go back to Proverbs. Okay. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto Yahweh, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. What's that one? I think it's in the Gospels. No, it's in Ecclesiastes. Damn. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 1. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Meaning, if you aren't slack to give out what you have, you'll get it back. If you give alms, you'll get a reward. If you do it sincerely, not looking for a reward. But if you give your alms, you give to the poor, you're not losing anything. Not only will you get it back, but it's a spiritual gain too. For you and them. Okay, so cast your bread upon the waters. You will find it after many days. Right? It said, he that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto Yahweh. Matthew chapter 25 verse 13. Do we want to start 13? Not 13. Is it 23 that I'm thinking of? Here we go. We'll start at verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, so the poorest, the least, you got the greatest and the least, right? The mighty and the weak. Ye have done it unto me. Okay? So he that it said, he that have pity upon the poor lendeth unto Yahweh. Right? It says, chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. Right? Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. Do it while there's hope. Right? It's that one. Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Children are just naturally foolish. They do foolish things, but you correct them with the rod. Now, you don't always have to hit your children. Spank them and discipline them. Give them a clip on the ear. You don't always have to do that for everything. And you definitely don't beat them. As in, like, really just lay into them like a drunk, like you see drunks do. You don't do that. You don't get abusive. But if your child needs a whooping, your child needs a whooping. It'll correct him. It'll drive foolishness far from him, right? I want Proverbs 13:24. It says, "He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes." So if you spare the rod, you don't whoop him, then you hate him. You're not correcting him. You're not giving him. And guess what? You're defrauding him too. Defrauding the chance to see discipline. Right? You can't spare with discipline. You know what my granddad used to do? My dad's dad. He grew up poor. Very poor. Didn't eat every day. Electric was never paid. Sleeping on a mattress on a floorboard. Getting evicted all the time. That's how he grew up. That's how he grew up. Just absolutely poverty. Right? And he made a vow to himself that he would never, ever let his descendants go through that. He had to make the change because his father was the same and his grandfather was the same. He decided to make the change. He worked his ass off, and he got himself a nice little something. And then he had to teach my dad discipline in life, right? He had to teach my dad that there are consequences when you don't do right. So if my dad was messing up in school, not doing his schoolwork, not doing his homework, just messing up, whatever the case may be, misbehaving, most parents, they'll take their child's toys away, but then eventually they'll give them back when they start acting right. My granddad wanted to show my dad that there are real consequences. You can really lose your substance if you don't play the game right. So what did he do? He didn't take the toys away. No, he took my dad outside and made my dad watch him burn his toys in front of him. You know, you don't get them back then. Yeah, sure enough, he probably bought him new toys. But he wanted to really show my dad that there are real consequences. There are real consequences, man. You can lose stuff for real if you mess up. So that's what he did. He didn't spare for my dad's crying. Okay? Where's that one? I think we just read it, right? Proverbs chapter 19. It said, let not thy soul spare for his crying. Right? Don't spare for his crying. He might be getting upset. But guess what? Good. He's going to learn his lesson. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. If he's of great wrath, you have to punish him. Right? You have to punish him. Obviously, we have mercy these days, right? But a man of great wrath has to be punished. He has to see some consequence. For if thou deliver him, if you let it slide, you kind of let him get away with just being an absolute menace. Yet thou must do it again. You're gonna have to. It's gonna happen again. He's gonna continue. He needs correction. It says, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. You need to listen to advice. You need to take instruction. You need to take orders, man. You can't just be proud and out here doing your own thing. Because you'll be wise in your latter end if you do these things. It says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of Yahweh, that shall stand. So we have many plans, many ideas. Those things aren't promised to stand, but what is definitely going to stand always is the counsel of Yahweh. It says, the desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The desire of a man is his kindness, right? We need to desire to be kind. It says a poor man is better than a liar. It's better to be poor than to be a liar. If you're poor and honest, it's better than being a liar. It says, the fear of Yahweh lendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. Remember what we read Psalm chapter 119, verse 165, my favourite psalm. It says, because bear in mind, it just said he will not be visited with evil. As in, bad things won't happen much to them. Because Psalm 119, 165, great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Nothing shall cause them to stumble. Nothing shall be contrary to them. They have great peace because we don't cause our own problems anymore. We might cause some because we slip up. Like I said before, life, everybody's going to have problems in life. But us that keep the law, keep the commandments, we don't often create our own problems anymore. Right? We don't often create our own problems for ourselves. One example is eating pork. You don't eat pork, you're not going to give yourself certain health problems, certain sicknesses that are guaranteed to come with that disgusting meat. Guaranteed to come because it's full of parasites that cooking it doesn't destroy. So you don't create that problem anymore. Same for all the other laws. Okay? So you have great peace. So I said, the fear of Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. So if you're slothful and lazy, then you're not gonna be eating. You're not gonna bring your hand to your mouth. Just like we read before, you're not gonna be eating. You're gonna be hungry because you're lazy. It says, "Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware." Right. So if you punish someone who's arrogant, the simple will see that and they'll know better now. There'll be an example laid out. It said, "And reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge." Salakia. I'm on Do Not Disturb. Some people don't get the message, and I just had to. I just got a phone call. So I lost my train of thought now. Salakia. Right. Reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. Right? So he will take correction, and he'll understand that you'll understand the knowledge. Knowledge is to know, right? So he'll understand that you know something. You're correcting him for a reason, and if he have understanding, he will understand knowledge. He will say, "Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can take the correction." Because what do we read? What do we read in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7? It says, "Wisdom is the principal..." Salakia. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. My bad. "The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." You can't correct them. Right? You can't correct them. We read this in Sirach 32. Verse 17, "A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will." You can't correct him, right? "He that wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame, and bringeth reproach." Okay, so if you just spend your father's substance and waste it, and you waste him, you make him to the point where he's deteriorating. You know, you can actually, by the stress of being a bad son, you can put your father in an early grave and waste him. You can destroy him. His morale and everything, you can take away from him. And if you chase away your mother, she's coming to you with her hands out, in need of something, and you chase her away. "No, get out of here. Go away. I don't want to hear it." You bring shame. What is the opposite? What's the opposite of honor? Shame. You need to honor your parents, man. It says, "Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge." So to have the words of knowledge, right? You need to not hear the instructions that cause you to fumble that, right? Don't hear those instructions. Don't waste your time learning of vain, stupid things. Reading the Quran. Don't waste your time reading the Quran, right? Because that's hearing the instruction that causes you to err from the words of knowledge. Filling yourself with lies. Don't read the damn Kemet texts and the damn Hindu texts and all the nonsense. Don't read it. Don't hear those instructions, because they will cause you to err from the words of knowledge. It says, an ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Okay, so an ungodly witness scorns judgment, right? They scorn judgment. They mock it, right? They show a bad name to judgment. The wicked devour iniquity. What does it mean they eat that? That's iniquity is the fruit that they eat. That's what they feed upon. That's the fruit of their doing. They get up to iniquity. It says, judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. Okay? So we can't be foolish, we have to be wise. Otherwise we're going to take stripes. And we'll get judgment for being a scorner. But with that, we're going to give Kal Halal La Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Shalom.